What's up?
What's going on, Internet? We are live here with Kevin Fitzgerald. What's up, Kevin?
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Say hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Awesome.
Oh, classic comedy.
I was hoping you were going to do that. Hey-o!
Nailed it.
We did nail it.
You set it up, I knock it down.
That's how we do it
right.
here. That's what stand-up's all about. There's two people, and they just, one sets them up. It's like volleyball.
Yeah.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
Yes. So we are coming at you live from Joker's Wild Comedy Club.
Is this actually being broadcast live?
Yeah, it's
That's-
broadcast live. There's no viewers yet, but we will put it on YouTube. And 2 weeks ago, usually we get anywhere under 10 viewers. Usually we'll get, maybe 2, 8, whatever. The other 2 weeks ago, it shot up to like 80 viewers. It was crazy.
Live or on YouTube?
Yeah, live.
Wow.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Well, yeah, on
Did
YouTube.
you ever find out what that was?
I don't know what it was. I think that maybe there was just not a lot going on Ustream, and maybe we just had a few, and it just bumped us up.
Who was your guest?
Who was the guest that day?
Jacob.
Oh yeah, Jacob
Oh, well, that
Hollison.
explains
Yeah,
everything.
that's right. Yeah, he's like one of our biggest fans. He listens and watches all of them.
That guy listens to every local podcast.
Yeah,
I don't know how he does it.
He's great.
Yeah, I don't think he works.
That could have something to do with it.
Actually, no. He told me he does work.
Yeah, he talked about
I
that.
think he works at Wendy's. I think
Yes.
we've mentioned him in every single one of our 27 podcasts.
Yeah, we
by the
did.
way.
I don't know how you can't.
If
He
this
is
thing-
literally the only listener to almost everybody's podcast.
Yeah. Actually, I got to give a big shout out to Frank Mergallo, because he donated today to our podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, is he like the only donor?
He's the first
the
donor,
first
yeah.
donor.
So if you guys want to donate, we'll totally give you a shout out. But that was awesome of him. So I'm so excited. I finally made money podcasting.
Just out of curiosity, okay, the green wasn't going on when I was talking, and I wanted to make sure everyone could hear all the fucking gold that I'm about to spout.
Yeah. That's the on the Ustream for some reason it's a little different to meter. This is the
Alright.
yeah. So no, we can hear you.
Sweet.
Spout some gold, man. So what's up? Tell us about yourself.
That's
How was your day? So many questions.
How was my day? Well, you weren't here for the big event of my day, which is when I tried to back into a parking spot at Joker's Wild,
Oh,
and
yes.
I hit a light post.
Oh no.
Yeah, I came in like it was Tokyo Drift. I was so confident in myself, and my typical strategy. Most of the people probably have been to Joker's. It would be why they would be listening here. But the parking lot is terrible.
It's bad.
Yeah.
So I usually just back in until I feel my wheels hit the curb.
It's a great strategy.
And it's a great strategy unless
there's a
Unless
small
there's
child behind you.
a small child or a street lamp behind you. But yeah, Sean Murray and Stosh said they could hear it from inside.
Oh no.
But it wasn't actually. There's a very small scratch, and other than that, there's not a lot of damage. So.
Oh, good.
Well, that's good.
I've abandoned trying to park in the parking lot altogether. I just park on a street where I feel like my car is going to get stolen. Somehow I feel like that's easier
Yeah.
than parking in this parking lot.
I'll just get it stolen. It's no big deal.
That's why I only park in here when we do the podcast, which is so I can get here early.
Yeah, get her.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Yeah. I actually just steal the spot in front of the handicap spot.
Yeah.
It's not really a spot, but I just kind of park there. So.
It's actually the second time I've hit something at Joker's.
Oh, you hit something
Really?
else before?
I hit a with what should be the garden. There's like a patch of dirt right outside one of the windows
Oh.
that flowers should
Oh
be in.
yeah, people hit that all the time.
I hit that and I just sped off like a maniac.
And
like I committed a crime and I was getting away with it.
and then he admitted to it. On
But
the
at
podcast.
the
Was there
time-
somebody shaking their
Well,
fist?
Yeah, because
behind
at the
you?
time Dan Cowlight, who worked here, was there.
Oh
So I broke part of a building, sped off like a crazy person in front of the manager, and then I still got to work there.
yeah. Nice.
That's Joker's Wild, I
Yeah.
guess.
So, how long have you been doing comedy, sir?
4.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.5. Wow.
What? How'd you get started? What was the inspiration or the?
I always wrote. Like I did literary magazine stuff when I was in college, so it was like a new kind of writing that I wanted to try.
Mhm.
I wrote like real shitty poetry that I thought was brilliant when I was in college.
Really?
Do you still have it?
I have some of them because I was like the editor of our college literary magazine, so all the
Really?
shitty
Wow.
stuff I wrote got in automatically. I had some short stories that I think are still good when I look back on them, but it was just like a different. My poetry was horrendous. It was all based on like Stevie Wonder lyrics. I don't know what. I was a weird time in my life, but yeah. Then
We need to read these.
Yeah, this is.
I wish I had them on me. I should have been prepared.
That's interesting. Poetry. So
Yeah.
did you do like live readings? Or
No, I didn't do like slams or anything.
Oh, okay.
And then it was just a different. I started getting into watching stand up, and I wanted to try to write it. And I came the first time I did it was at Joker's.
Really?
And I came a couple times, and I was too afraid to sign up, so I just didn't. I just like sat there and watched, and like Dave Moon made fun of me for being a weird guy in the back.
Oh no.
Yeah. But then eventually I invited like 8 of my friends because that way I'd have to go on
Yeah,
stage.
you couldn't chicken out. Yeah.
Wow, but that's so much pressure.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure, and it was crazy because like Pat was hosting at the time.
Oh, okay.
His first stint as the host, Pat Oates. You guys had him, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, on the no, we haven't. He's coming up soon.
Yeah, so he was running it at the time, and I signed up. Pat didn't care so much about the list back then as he does now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So I
really?
signed up like 15th, and I went on like a millionth.
Yeah.
After a white guy said the N-word 100 times,
Oh, great.
and after another comic who's notoriously not good, and it was like a weird thing where like
like a notorious.
he did the same joke all the time so much that like people would like chant along with it.
But not in an admiration way. Kind
No,
of in a, like.
it was like he's like, my dad doesn't get subtlety. He's like, he was sitting there with his pants down. And he was like, have you seen my nuts? And the crowd would be like, have you seen my nuts? And I was like, this guy's either fucking great or everyone hates him,
Yes.
which could
It's a fine
potentially be my
line.
future.
It's a fine line.
Yeah, and then I remember Hados like, how the hell are you gonna follow that?
Oh man.
So your friends had to stay pretty much all night.
Yeah, it was
Were they pissed at you?
not really. I mean, I think not at least openly pissed at me.
Yeah,
Well, that's
exactly.
good.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can't be mad at
But
you.
it went okay,
Yeah.
which was all I wanted it to be for the first time.
Exactly. Yeah.
I expected it to be because I hear like, and probably when I look back on where I am now, 20 years from now, if I'm still doing this, I'll think I'm terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But like I remember hearing like Steve Martin in an interview being like, "Why would you get into a thing that's going to take you 20 years to be good?" So I was just ready to be fucking terrible for like 11 years at least.
Really? Wow.
Like I wasn't expecting to get a single laugh. I was expecting to be like the guys who I watch now, and I wonder why the hell are you still trying? But
Well, I mean, you're still doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what was it like the first time when you got off stage?
it was a real high. It was because
Yeah.
I just wanted to get a laugh. You know,
Uh-huh.
and the first time you hear the laugh and it happened like somewhere in the middle of my set, like I felt really good about myself.
Nice.
So it was just kind of that feeling of validation, I guess.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can you remember any of the jokes you told?
Yeah, one of them I still tell.
Oh wow, that's odd. Like you kept one of those
Yeah,
original jokes.
it's not a good joke, but what happened was somebody a audience member said something about that joke that was really funny, so I keep it in there so I can reference what was said to me.
Oh, I think
Oh.
I might have heard you say it then.
Yeah, it was the medium shirt joke.
Oh, yeah.
Where I have a joke about like, you know how I'm not anybody's type. Like no girl wants a big fat bearded guy. And this girl went up to me after a show at the Hartford Funny Bone, and she was like, "You're totally my type." She's like, "I just think you should wear a large shirt when you're on stage instead of a medium."
Oh, no.
And I actually said, I was like, "You're so cute if you think that I'm wearing a medium shirt." And I said it like the next show at the Funny Bone, and it killed, and it's just been kind of part of my set since then.
Awesome. So, did you
Nice.
bang her?
No, she was hitting on me in front of her boyfriend, who was a lot bigger than
Oh,
me,
great.
and was wearing a medium shirt that fit him,
Oh, wow.
with muscles, like one of those
wow.
muscular mediums.
It's that monogamy thing, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, what are you going to do? So, your first show was at the Funny Bone?
No, my first show was here,
Oh,
and I
okay.
told
Oh.
that joke at the Funny Bone at one point, and the girl said it to me afterwards.
Oh,
all right.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh, I got you. So, it's a joke you
I
started
told, and I
downtown,
probably wouldn't still have if that never happened to me.
Yeah.
So thanks, lady.
Isn't it funny how like somebody will say one thing about
Yeah.
something you do, and then it just changes the
Yeah.
whole thing, and you have this awesome variation of it now.
Yeah, it is fun to like figure out how people react. Like even sometimes I pretend that somebody's heckling me, and like I think of the shitty things I would think to myself if somebody else were saying these things. So like I'm prepared, and then
Yeah. So you have like heckler like
no,
lines?
really
No?
bad. I'm really bad at that. I
Yeah,
try to
me too.
prepare, but they never say the things I expect them to say.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, no, you were supposed to say this.
No, you're yeah, exactly.
They end up saying something way funnier
Yeah.
than you thought they were gonna say.
You're like, damn it.
Oh man, so 4.5 years, huh?
Yeah.
So you've been doing it like steadily for the last 4.5 years?
Yeah, for the most part, I haven't like I haven't like taken like a long period of time off or anything.
Cool.
Sometimes I teach, so I have off in August, and sometimes I might just not take shows just to.
Oh yeah, are you only off in August, or are you off?
Yeah, I do summer school.
Oh really?
Yeah, so
oh, okay.
I just have August off, and sometimes I just purposely don't book anything so that I can have a real vacation.
Yeah.
So I wasn't wanted to ask you about that. What's that like? You said
Yeah.
you're at high school, right?
Yeah.
So what is that like? Because I still kind of I'm a DJ, and sometimes I'll DJ high school functions, and I feel like I relate more with the kids than I do with the teachers, even though I'm probably older than the teachers, you know. So I mean,
and I'm scared of high school kids. So that's where me
Yeah.
and Brandon are coming from.
Yeah,
What is it like being a teacher?
It's weird. I don't like it's.
what subject?
I actually teach special ed,
Okay.
so I teach like every subject. I teach
Alright.
health somehow.
Yeah.
As I'm drinking beer and chewing tobacco on your on your show. So I teach a little bit of everything. It's cool because we have a small school, so that's nice. I've had like the same kids for 5 years.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, and they, if you had Scott McDonald on the show,
No, we got to get him
No,
out.
yeah,
He's
we do.
hilarious.
yeah, Scotty McDingdongs we call him.
Yes.
And I had a student reading an article about McDonald's, and out of nowhere he's like, the fast food restaurant McDingdongs, and I'm like, wait. Either I've turned you into a comedic genius, or I have the sense of humor of a 13-year-old.
Probably a little bit
Yeah,
of both,
I think it's a
right?
combination of the two.
That's funny. So
But, yeah, I mean they love. I quote Dan Calwait during my during my classes all the time,
Oh,
and they
yeah?
find him hilarious. So
that's awesome.
it's nice. Like every once in a while, like I'll say something, and I'll throw in like a Mitch Hedberg one-liner and see if they find it funny. A lot of times they don't.
What level are they at? Because I feel like special ed. I mean, for somebody like me, I really don't know what the different degrees are. Like how with it are they?
What he wants to say is how retarded are they? Adam, that's so messed up. You can't say that.
I mean,
I'm
I
just
get-
kidding.
Oh boy.
We're like all over the place.
Yeah.
We have kids who are like super smart.
Mhm.
Kids who are a little behind. Just a little bit of everything. So it covers everything, which is
Are there any kids that are like a real pain in the ass?
of course not.
No, they're all like angels.
I don't have a stage name, so they can find this. They're all great.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, if hypothetically, have you ever had a kid in the past? That, I mean, how did you? I mean, it must be rough if they say something to you, and it would be if it's somebody on the street saying something, or here it'd be different. But you have to kind of like hold back, and you got to just let it go. I mean, is that?
That's a tough part. Honestly, I taught just high school English for a couple years at a Catholic school,
Oh,
Really?
and they were the ones who were kind of like the pains in the butt.
yeah,
Yeah, I bet.
yeah. I can imagine. But that's what because here, if you're on stage, and someone said something, you could basically say whatever you want back to them, but you really got to bite your tongue. I mean, have you ever got close to you're doing anything, or you just?
No, I mean like my students and I joke around a lot.
Yeah.
But we're kind of trained at our school to ignore most things, which is why I think I'm made to do special ed, because I just have learned to take punishment over and over again.
And comedy.
Yeah. Both things, just to have people hate me over and over.
Nice.
Like I'm just like fascinated by like teaching, like by you being a teacher. Like where did you why did you want to become a teacher?
I majored in English and I had no idea what else to do with it. That was pretty much it. And then I taught English for a couple years. I didn't like the school I was at. I kind of wanted to get into some sort of writing full time, whether it was comedy or something else. And I kind of happened upon a job working one-to-one with a 4-year-old who had autism.
Wow.
And that was a lot of fun. And then my company ended up opening up their own school, and since I was a certified teacher, they just put me on board.
Well, that's cool. It's got to be more rewarding, I would imagine.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're helping people, whereas these high school kids that are in English are probably just, I mean, some of them are going to go some places and some aren't, but I don't think you play as much of a role. You're just, he's the English teacher, whereas now you're probably helping them in their life in
I think
big
so,
ways.
especially since I've had the same kids for so long. Like in the other schools, like you get 200 new kids every year, and so this is one where you get a chance to actually get to know them. And
how many kids are in the school?
the whole school is 50.
Oh, okay.
I have 10.
Oh, all right.
So
And how long are you going to have them for? I mean, is it?
I teach the older kids. So we're actually K through 12.
Oh, okay.
So I have the 8th through 12th graders,
Oh, all right.
and so they basically stay until they graduate or they're ready to go on to, the regular high schools.
And what do you think your favorite subject is to teach?
I have a couple kids who are like crazy smart, and I get to teach English with them.
Like Rain Man smart?
Not like that. No, not like baseball statistics, Wheel of Fortune smart, but like like really
like retard smart. No.
like above grade level smart.
Yeah,
And so I get to do like a regular English class with them, but just for 2 people.
Yeah. So
I don't need to like worry about who's texting in the back of class because there's just like 3 of us at a table.
Yeah.
Wow. That's that's crazy, man. Like, would you ever go back to teaching regular like classrooms? Or
No,
does
I don't
that
think
like
so.
frighten you now? Or
It was a lot.
like more annoying
For
than
me,
anything?
I'm not the most observant person on the planet.
Okay.
So having like 30 kids in a room was like really overwhelming.
Yeah. Did you ever have any like pranks pulled on you?
Yeah. When I was student teaching, April Fool's Day, I was at a school in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
That's so hack.
Yeah. No, it was at a
Not
school,
you, them.
yeah.
I mean, really?
I was at a school in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, which is like that's a weird town because like half of it is like super white trash, and then the other half is like super ghetto black people, and they just shouldn't be in the same neighborhood, but they all are. And so I had like this one kid who was like the popular kid. He was like the star of the basketball team. I was like, I know they're gonna do something, so I need you to like hang around to intimidate everybody, hoping that they don't do anything.
That would be me like every day as a
Yeah.
teacher.
Just paying kids. Oh, come on, man.
And it worked. I got to the end of the day, nobody did anything to me, and then I got outside, and my car was covered with Post-it notes,
Wow, that's a pretty
Really?
elaborate prank.
which is an elaborate prank. It took me like a good 45 minutes just to get them all off of my car.
Did you take a picture at least?
No, I didn't have a camera phone at that time. This is how old I am. Phones were not also cameras.
Yeah.
But I remember this is where
Kodak was still in business.
this is where I screwed myself over because I get like maybe an eighth of the way through the car, and the kids who did it kind of come back and like, do you need to go anywhere? You know, we can help you take it off. It's like, no, it's no big deal. I got nowhere to go. And they just drove off, and I was like, I should have said I had something
yeah,
to do.
I gotta help.
They came back?
Yeah.
They felt bad. It's like pranker's remorse. Oh no, that poor guy. He's such a nice
You're
guy.
just by
Whatever.
yourself, tears coming off
Yeah.
your eyes, picking up.
And then the
Post-it
kid
notes
who I
one
had
by
protecting me
one.
the whole time like walks by and sees me. He's like, ha, they got you anyway.
Yeah,
He was
he's
just
probably
behind it
in
the
on
whole
it.
time.
Just keep him busy. So you were talking about writing. Do you do any other writing other than comedy and stand-up writing?
No, not really. I've wanted to get into screenplays. Because I always thought when I was doing fiction writing, dialogue was kind of my best thing.
Yeah.
But I'm also like lazy as shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like, I've also wanted to try screenplays, and I was always like, oh, well, I don't have like the script writing software. And my friend was like, oh, here's a free key. Now you have the script writing software. And
Yeah.
then I was like,
Oh no.
I do.
I just keep coming up with new excuses.
I do have a blog I do once every 4 years.
I have
okay.
a blog also, and
Yeah.
I haven't wrote on it in over a year. I'm
I
so
do.
upset.
I feel like blogs aren't in anymore.
Yeah. I did a thing 8 years ago where I'm a big soccer fan.
Mhm.
And so for the World Cup, I read a book from every country that was competing in the World Cup. And then so I did it 2014, so last year. And my friend's like, you should blog. And I was like, yeah, this is great. All the soccer pundits are going to find it, and I'm going to be fan. Like,
Did it work?
No. I got like one guy in India who follows me.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
he comments on everything and says, well written. That's all he says.
Very well written, my friend.
not that it was good. Not that like he liked what I was saying, just that it was a well written post.
I survived the tigers to come read your. I'm very happy I read your. Oh man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I started a blog before I started comedy actually, and I probably did 1 or 2 a month, and then once I started comedy, it's just all been about comedy. And I've been working on some ideas because it was a serious blog, and I have some ideas, but I just never get to them. You know, it's terrible. Not enough hours in a day. You know.
Doing serious things is boring too.
Yeah. Well, I found it pretty passionate. What I would do is, it usually was inspired by something I saw on Facebook. Somebody like bitching about something, and I would just like go into it hardcore and be like, and this just right, and then I'd feel better. If not, I would just be pissed off all day.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So, like, I feel better now, and here you go. So.
Did you ever like link your blog to whatever that person said?
No, but I did put it on Facebook, and it wasn't anyone in particular, you know. It was just generally people bitching on Facebook because since I'm a DJ and I've used to promote so much, I have like all these Facebook friends that most of them I don't even know, and it was different then. Now I think you just kind of see who you react, or you're in your feed is more people that you interact with. That's what I was looking for. But then it was just really random, so I would just see these people like complaining, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, you get to take a hot shower, right? Okay, you know how many people in history have ever gotten to take a hot shower? Like, less than 1%. Shut up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I hate it. It's so attention seeking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I was just gonna say it's crazy when you really start deconstructing our reality with like all the luxuries we have.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
everything we do.
Yeah.
It is literally so lucky. We're so lucky.
Yeah,
to be in
and
this
we're
existence.
probably, I mean, I know I'm probably in the lower end of the middle class, like a couple paychecks away from living in the ghetto or whatever and homeless. But anyway, but even then, like even the homeless in this country are probably the best off, Like,
Oh yeah, I mean
it's like-
first world people are just better off
Yeah.
overall compared to like third world countries.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's just the truth. Totally different reality.
So what's your take on it, Kevin?
Well, I
have
do.
you ever been anywhere? Any other countries?
I've been to Ireland.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
went to Ireland for 2 weeks with my family after I graduated college.
Oh, what was that like?
It was cool because we got my dad. He was saving up forever for this, and he got like a bus, like a private bus that would just like take us around.
Oh, wow.
And we got to see this bar in this little piece of crap town called Myshall, which doesn't even sound Irish to me. I thought
What's
it
the
was
name of it?
Myshall, Myshall, and I thought my dad was just making it up. He's like, yeah, my dad, because my both of his parents are from Ireland,
Oh, all right.
and I guess my great grandmother her family owned a bar, and it's still standing, so we got to like see it, and that we met the owners, and they came like they invited us into their house, and they like pulled out this paperwork, and part of it was like the deed to the bar when they had sold it. But then there was all this other paperwork that went with it, and like it was like the dowry from my great grandmother. Like she received that land for marrying
Oh,
like
wow.
somebody. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And they had like a picture of her up in the bar, which was kind of cool.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
And we saw the house that my grandfather grew up in, which apparently I didn't know this. We owned, or not we, but like my dad and his two siblings owned it up until maybe like 10 or 15 years ago,
Oh, really?
Oh wow.
which pissed me off because we could have had like a vacation house in Ireland.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that would
What
been
the hell?
sweet. I've heard people say that like the drinking is just on another level there. Is that what
It
you felt
was-
like?
I mean, I was with my family, so I didn't go too crazy.
Yeah.
But there were very few tours you would take or at least that we signed up for, because my family, much like me, drinks to excess.
Wait, you're Irish and you drink? Come on.
But
don't believe
there's
it.
so many like bar crawls and bar like.
Was it touristy though? Was it like, oh, we're in Ireland, let's get drunk, or was it people in Ireland actually drinking a lot?
It depended on where we were staying. Like Dublin was pretty touristy.
Yeah.
But when we got to some of the smaller towns, like, it was just kind of Irish people drinking.
Oh, okay. So yeah, right. So it's
And my
it's
dad
good.
has no clue how to react. Like he is the stereotype of what Americans are when we go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like we walked in and some guy was just like, he just heard somebody say baseball and he was like, Yankees. And like nobody knows what that is in Ireland. Like he just thinks that like that's what they call us as racial slurs.
Oh yeah. It was a total racial slur, right? Exactly. I was in Italy when I was in the military, and it's funny to see some people, especially rednecks, and they're in this country, and it's like they're doing people in Italy a favor by being there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, "Well, you don't speak English?" Or, well, that's an Italian accent. That was horrible. But I want spaghetti and pizza, and it's like, really, guys, come on, really? I don't know. It's great. I love America. It's awesome. But they do react, though. I noticed people in Italy, anyway, when they hear the American English accent, because everybody that speaks English in Italy or all these countries, they learn English.
Yeah.
So when they speak it, they sound, English. So when they hear the American, they just snap their heads. They're like, oh, it was the 90s. So this is before, the internet was big and everything. So people are like, oh, what's that? So it was pretty cool. Did you find that at all, or were there a lot of Americans there?
I mean, there were a lot of. I think they're used to Americans there too.
Yeah.
I mean, tourism is like one of their biggest businesses.
Yeah. How long? You said 2 weeks?
It was 2 weeks.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Would you go back?
I would love to go back. I want to go back, but I also I mean, I've been on cruises and stuff and been in, which I'm not a beach person because like I feel like you go there and you're in Martinique and you're like, all right, now I'm just on a different beach. But I want to go back to Ireland, but I'd also like to see I'd like to go to Italy. Or,
Yeah. Oh, Italy's amazing.
I'm also part Czech, so I've always wanted to go to the Czech Republic.
Ooh, yeah, bring a gun.
I actually,
I'll say that when I go on the plane. Like, why are you bringing this gun? And I was like, yeah.
I'm going to the Czech Republic.
okay, you can keep it. Here you go. It's loaded, right? All right, good. I was in Ireland for like 45 minutes. I was at the airport when I was in the military. We stopped there and we're like, cool, we're in Italy. All right, we're in Ireland. All right, we got to go. I'm like, damn it. But so that's my cool story about Ireland.
Yeah, I've never been to Europe at all. That's like the one thing I really want to go.
Where have you been?
No, like honestly, it's pathetic. I've been like outside of the U.S. I've been to Canada and I've been to, like, the Caribbean. That's pretty
Is
much
there
it.
anywhere you really want to go?
Um, Not specifically. Like I just want to see, different countries in Europe.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really matter which ones, but just to experience that.
Yeah, I want to. I really want to go to like India or Thailand or China or somewhere.
That would be cool too.
I really want to check out because it's so old. Even Italy's really old, but then just imagine, just like the Great Wall of China and all that stuff. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do China though with like the toilet situation.
Oh, you
What's
gotta.
it? Elaborate on the toilet situation.
They basically
First talk
just,
about how you like your toilets, and then why you are against Chinese toilets.
I like toilets that you can sit on. Okay.
In Europe, there's a
China,
lot of that too, though.
What?
In Italy, there was a lot of squatty potty
Really?
thing, yeah, or whatever you call them.
In China, there's just a hole in the ground, and you just squat over it,
Yeah.
basically.
That's how a lot of things in Italy were like the bars and stuff. I would just usually poop on base. I'm like, all right, cool, we're good here.
I actually read, this is weird because I read this, I think today when I was trying to waste time at work, that the human body's not built to sit on a toilet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's actually like more healthy for you to
It's
squat.
healthy to squat.
It's funny because the squatty potty is actually this thing you can buy, and it raises your feet up,
Oh,
so you have to kind
yeah.
of squat. And I was thinking about getting one, but now when I'm on the toilet, because I'm tall anyway, so I try to assume that position, and I seem to be able to poop a lot easier. So if you're listening and you want to poop easier, Google it.
Educational podcast.
Yeah, there we go.
That's right. Wasn't that on Shark Tank? I'm pretty sure that was.
I heard it from a Rogan podcast. There was a girl on who was a mobility expert, and she also said that you should sit on the floor. She doesn't have any furniture. She just has like decorative cushions. So it's like a theme. It looks like it's like from India or somewhere, and they actually sleep on the floor too. So since then I've been sitting on the floor more and sleeping on the floor more, and it's weird because when I used to have to get on the floor and get up, I'm not like in the best shape, but now I get up and I feel better. My back feels better. It's actually starting to work out a little better. I don't always, I'll sleep on my bed, but now it's more like a treat. Like, sweet, I get to sleep in the bed, but I'd like to go camping and stuff, so I don't mind sleeping on the floor.
Yeah, fuck all that. I'm bed.
Fuck that. I'm in America.
seven
America.
nights a week.
My sister's college roommate was like crazy religious, and she gave up her bed for Lent.
Ooh.
And she just slept on the hard
It's like
dorm
just
floor.
two bad ideas right there.
It's also
giving
weird
up your
'cause,
bed
like,
and Catholicism.
It'd be one thing like if you gave up your bed and like donated the mattress to a homeless shelter, but she was like nothing good was coming from it. She was just having a bad night's sleep.
Yeah, she was just I had a joke one year where for Lent I'm giving up religion for Lent. People just look at me like, what?
I was kind of into religion when I was in like middle school and a little bit in high school. The one thing that I realized that really led me on a path of like leaving religion was when I found out that like how Catholics you're not supposed to eat meat on Fridays during Lent. I found out they didn't make that rule until like 1940 something. And when I figured that out, I was like, fuck this religion. How can they say that we can't eat meat on Fridays and it's a rule they just made up? Like,
yeah, how do they interpret that shit, right? Like,
I think they just did it for like the war effort or something.
Oh, awesome. Everything is done for the war effort.
Yeah.
Back then.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure why they did it, but I know it was they just recently did. That was like the one thing that I was like, all right, fuck this. This
According
is
to
just
Tracy
fake.
Morgan on 30 Rock is because the Pope owns Long John Silver.
Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite 30 Rock's references.
Oh yeah, that was such a great show. Yeah. How's he doing, by the way? Have you heard anything about him?
Oh
no,
yeah.
Somebody said he was walking again.
I heard he was walking.
Yeah.
I know they had that lawsuit, so for a while everything was kind of quiet because they had to sue and get money. So I guess he couldn't be okay right away. I don't know.
What was the name of the comic that got really messed up? Was it Artie?
Well, there was also the one that died. He got the most messed up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe maybe it's
Rest
better
in
after you
peace.
die. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was
Artie
his name?
Artie Fuqua.
Yeah.
How's he doing? Any word on him?
I had heard this is like maybe right after the accident had happened, so I don't know what it's like now. But somebody I had worked with at comics had said that he was having like memory problems.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
So sad.
We should probably
And then,
Google it.
Harris Stanton, who I'd actually worked with a couple times, he got off pretty easy from what I had heard.
Oh, he was there too?
He was in it, but he had like very minor injuries.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, they were in a tour bus, right? I'm going to Google
Yeah.
and see how Artie's doing, you guys. talk.
Yeah, that was crazy when that happened. You said you liked 30 Rock.
Yeah.
What other shows are you into right now?
I love New Girl. I think that show's really
Is that
funny.
from Netflix?
No, it's
or
on
is that
Fox.
Fox?
It's Fox, yeah.
With Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah, Zoe Deschanel.
Okay.
I was down at The Stand with Pat Oates in New York City, and Damon Wayans Jr., who plays Coach from New Girl, was there.
Oh, really?
And it was like one of the weird times I got starstruck, like watching, because he kind of like came in through the back and he had a red hoodie and it was up, and I was like, is that the Coach from New Girl?
Did you stand up?
Yeah, he did some time. It was pretty good. And then
yeah, Pat said he was good.
Yeah. And I started watching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix, which is written by Tina Fey.
That. Oh, really?
Yeah, which is also really good.
Oh, I gotta check that out because I like Tina Fey. I've been into it. Have you seen BoJack Horseman?
No.
Oh man, I've been into that, and I've actually been getting into Curb Your Enthusiasm because I've never really watched it when it was big. I just kind of was one of those things where I just missed.
Good.
And have you watched that?
I watched some of it. I honestly, this is weird for me to admit because people always get mad at me when I say this, but I am not a fan of Seinfeld.
Oh,
really?
Yeah,
that's fine. That doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really bother me because I used to not be a fan when I was younger, and I think now that I don't know if it's because I'm older and I've been through shit, and I watched it again, and I'm like, oh, I get it now. Nothing ever works out, just like life. I get it. So, Curb is just like that, but on crack.
Well, I watched Curb and I understood Seinfeld. For a second, I was like, I think I get it.
Yeah,
I think because it's the creator, and I don't know how much of it is him just playing a character, how much is him being himself, but
yeah.
I got it for a second. I was like, oh, he's like George and Jerry together.
Yeah, he's like all of them. Yeah, he really is. Yeah.
Now, you not liking Seinfeld, that was from stemming from you being a kid and not liking it?
I didn't hate it as a kid. I think I remember watching it as a kid, but only because I had a TV with bunny ears in my room and I got 3 channels.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Oh, okay.
And I tried to watch it. Like, my friends in college liked it, and I tried. I had an ex who loved it and would make me painfully watch it.
Oh, that's
and
the
I
worst.
tried. There were times where I would giggle, and unfortunately, I positively reinforced it. So she'd be like, "If you like that joke, you'll really like this episode."
Oh, no.
So I had to keep watching them because I laughed once. I found the characters almost it's how my mom views Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Where just you hate every character and you know they're just gonna keep doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, Always Sunny, at least they're amusing.
Yeah.
And I never got that feeling from Seinfeld. Something.
I'm gonna go shut that door. You guys keep
Dan
talking
Rice
about.
just screamed ISIS.
He's
into
killing
the mic.
Did ISIS just come into Joker's Wild? Are we being attacked?
Did you watch the Bieber roast?
No, I've seen clips. I actually recently watched the James Franco one because that was on
Oh,
demand.
okay. I didn't really like the James Franco one.
There were parts I liked, and there were parts I hated. There were 2 or 3 lines. I wish we're roasting the bartender Andy at Joker's at the end of the month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And after
That should
watching
be
the
fun.
Bieber, or not the Bieber roast, the Franco roast, Andy Samberg at one point told a very harmless joke, and then said, "Is there a barista in the house? Because this roast just got dark." And it was one of those times where I was like, "God damn it! I wish I thought of that. I wish I could say this at Andy's roast at some point."
You could still say it.
Yeah, did you?
The
did you-
Nobody
23rd,
steals
right?
jokes at
The
Joker's
23rd,
Wild.
April 23rd.
I think 23rd.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
wow.
that's funny because I was talking about we have this joke shop. There's this group on Facebook. There's a few people on it, and it's called Joke Shop, and we just post stuff up when it's funny. And Pat was like, "Oh, are you worried they're gonna steal your jokes?" And I'm like, I don't care. I mean, nobody on there I think would steal a joke, but even if somebody did, I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, I don't know. I don't think anyone's gonna be stealing Tinder jokes and cat jokes. You know what I mean? So I'm not really that worried. And if they're doing them, everyone's gonna be like, "That's Brandon. What are you doing? You don't have cats, you know." So.
Has anybody ever stolen any of your stuff?
Not that I know of. Although I have one joke. Years ago, my sister said that she had a friend who had a friend who had a friend who slept with Derek Jeter.
Your sister said she had a friend.
Who had it's somehow a million people passed by, but somebody knew somebody who slept with Jeter.
Yeah.
And said that he left her a gift basket. And I was like, that's probably not true, but it's funny.
That is pretty funny.
So I wrote a joke about it, and then it became a public rumor, maybe 2 years ago. And
Really?
John Romanoff calls me, and he's like, "Fitzgerald, turn on the talk. They're doing your Jeter material."
Oh no.
And it's because the whole thing was would I sleep with Jeter for a gift bag? And you show up and Samuel L. Jackson's holding an autographed Jeter baseball. And then Vinny Pagano, another local guy, calls me. He was doing a spot on, I want to say Chaz and AJ to promote a show. And he was like, "Yeah, they were doing this thing where They were talking about Jeter leaving a gift basket. He's like, I'm not even a sports fan, but I'm like, I feel like I've known this for like 3 years. And then after I got off, I was like, oh yeah, that's Kevin's joke. So it's
Maybe
not like
it's
my
just
jokes
something he
got
does.
stolen. It was just like something that a rumor that I had heard that is probably still not true, but just
Or maybe
What
maybe
if you started?
'Cause he does
it
bang
just,
a lot of
it
ladies.
took you. It took years to actually.
I hoped that was actually my secret hope was like because I heard this dumb story from a girl that
you're gonna
now
have
everyone thinks that Jeter's just like this weirdo who leaves.
you're gonna have kids and like on your deathbed you're gonna be like, remember that Jeter rumor? I started that. That was put on your tombstone.
But I still
Everyone's
do
like,
it.
who the hell's Derek Jeter?
Started a rumor about Derek Jeter.
It's
in 09.
2055. We don't even. What the hell is that?
I mean, that would be pretty fucking cool, though.
Yeah,
if
that would
you
be
did
great.
that.
I wish that was the case. I still hope it is that I started that rumor. I don't know how anyone would have heard it.
Yeah.
Well, were you telling on stage?
Yeah.
Well,
but
yeah.
like
People
not,
here and just talking about it. Maybe someone put it on Facebook. You never know. I mean,
some guy at Joker's Wild said Jeter leaves gift baskets.
It's like the Derek Jeter butterfly effect.
or you bump into him one day and he's like, "What the hell, man?
You're that guy.
That'd make a good scene on Seinfeld. You're that guy. I can't get any."
He's like my hero, and I've destroyed his life.
Exactly. Now you get it. See, let's watch this episode. It's just like this episode. I feel like that happened to me with that show, The Office, because I never watched it. I didn't watch it when it was first out, and then this girl that I met or something, whatever, she's like, "Oh, you'll love this show. You'll love it. You'll love it." And then she brought like the first season over, and she was just like, every time something's about to happen, she was like in front of it, like, "Oh, here it is," and just
Watch this
ruined
part,
it for
watch this
me.
part.
Yeah, and I'm just like, "Oh, this is no, I can't."
Because then it's like you have to perform. Like she's demanding that you perform and laugh at everything.
Yeah.
And enjoy it.
And I'm just one of those people where I guess I'm just an asshole. So if somebody keeps telling me I'm going to like something, then I'm like, I don't like it out of spite.
I'm the same way. It took me like 4 seasons to watch Always Sunny, just because everyone told me I would like it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
No, I'm going to hate it. I'm going to hate it. And then, yeah. That's how I feel sometimes if I know someone that doesn't watch South Park. And I'm like, I know they would love it, but I try not to be too overbearing. But I'm like, you just watch it, trust me. And like, it's just stupid dick jokes. I'm like, no, there's a little more.
Yeah.
Not much, but no, it's brilliant. I love it. But yeah, it's the same thing, I guess.
It's the perfect mix of cultural commentary and dick jokes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I got a friend into Family Guy because of that. We have another friend who would just constantly quote it. And kept telling him to watch it, and he's like, "Oh, I can't." And so one day I was like, "Rach, just watch it." And he ended up liking it. I'm like, "Fuck that guy! Don't pay attention to him." Good story, anyway.
Yeah. All good TV shows.
Yeah.
You guys excited about Game of Thrones coming out this week?
I don't watch it.
I don't watch it either.
I play the video game.
There's a video game.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's Telltale Games, and they do like the Walking Dead one.
Oh,
And,
like an app game.
No, it's basically it comes out in episodes, and it's like a choose your own adventure. So like,
okay.
Is it PC or?
you can do a PC, and then they have it on Xbox and
Oh, okay.
PlayStation. And so like episode 3 just came out, so like in 2 months, episode 4 is gonna come out, and you make choices. So like you stab somebody, and you're like, oh, do you admit it? Do you hide the knife? What do you do? And then like what you choose affects what happens in later episodes.
Oh, that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's really. I mean, it's confusing for me because I don't know enough about the show.
Oh yeah.
Like I know Peter Dinklage makes appearances in it, and like I know he's on the show, but I don't know if I should trust him or not. But I know that he's Peter Dinklage, so I feel some sort of loyalty.
He's good. He's a good guy.
Alright.
You want to trust him.
Spoiler alert. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's one of those shows where I have to. I'm afraid to watch one episode because then I might disappear for 3 weeks and
Yeah.
just watch all of them.
That might be my August
Oh, there you
plan
go.
Yeah.
for when I don't leave my house for a couple weeks.
Yeah, there's just so many good shows, and I have all these books I want to read too, and it's just so tough. First world problems. There's people starving right now. This guy doesn't know what he wants to watch or read a book. What an asshole I am.
Book sounds like a lot of work right
Mommy,
now.
I'm not gonna get to eat. Shut up. Yeah, I know, right? I don't watch Game of Thrones because I don't want to binge watch it. Fucking what an asshole I am. I'm gonna go say that on stage when we leave here.
I know you were involved with that the Star of the Web
Yeah.
thing. What's like what was going on with that? Because it was like something you were promoting.
Yeah, it was. The idea was it was kind of like America's Got Talent, but online and for people from Connecticut.
Okay, cool.
It was fun. I think
Was this a show you were on or a show you were doing?
it was like a website.
Oh, okay.
And every month people would like upload videos of them either like singing, doing comedy, playing instrument or like there was like random things, but nobody ever like we had like one belly dancer for the random categories, and then like people would vote and the winners moved on to like different things.
All right.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I think people thought, like the people who ran it thought it was going to be a lot more successful than it. Like they thought this was going to blow up and be like the next American Idol.
Oh, all right.
And there's like potential there. Like
Yeah.
it was cool and it was fun and there's definitely like growth to be had there. It was a good time. I got the problem I had was that they wanted me to be like Simon Cowell and just like shit on all the bad people. But the problem was that like everybody who did it was just like really good singers. And I just didn't have anything. They're like, why didn't you comment on any videos this week? And I was like, because the girl sang Adele and she was really good at it. Like,
I don't want to ruin her dreams.
Yeah.
I'm too nice. I'm the Paul Abdul of this or whatever.
but there were comedians, and Beecher actually ended up winning the comedians division.
Oh, really?
And he came in second overall, and which I felt bad about because the whole running joke we were having during the finale was that there was no way Beecher was going to win. And then, like we were just shitting on every comedian possible because like clearly these singers are so much better. Like comedy's great, but like when you're going up against a 12-year-old singing Whitney Houston, like
Yeah.
it's just so much more impressive.
Yeah.
And Beecher ended up coming in second, so I felt bad for all the people he beat because we were acting like he was just like a loser. And like these were people like Beecher didn't expect to win, so he didn't really care. But these were people who like cared about winning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's different when you're a comic, right?
Yeah.
It's I don't know. There was it is amazing when you could see someone that could sing so well. But I was just at a wedding because I DJ weddings, and the groom wanted his friend to sing. She was saying Alicia Keys song that we had the instrumental to, and she killed it. And the guy I was with that was emceeing, I was DJing. He's like, yeah, she's pretty good. I'm like, yeah, pretty good. Like she's nailing it, and it's weird because she's that good, but she's just a normal person. You know what I mean? Like that's how good you got to be. Plus, you got to be lucky. Plus, I don't know what else. It's insane. I guess it's I don't know. I think in comedy, if you're funny and you work at it long enough and you don't give up, eventually you could get something out of it. But with singing, I don't know. Maybe it's the same, but I think it's.
I feel like there's a lot more people who want to be singers.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, who the hell wants to go on stage and tell dick jokes, right? It's us.
Well, I think that there's like just more safety in like being, a musician than there is in being a comic. I mean, being a musician, as long as you can carry a tone, as long as you're not terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, even those people perform at karaoke bars, so.
Yeah, you're not really bearing your soul unless you're.
Yeah.
Well, there's some musicians that write, and they write songs and they talk about personal experiences and stuff. That could be really tough. But I know what you're saying. Is somebody playing an instrument?
I feel like somebody's playing harmonica.
Somebody's playing harmonica on stage. If you're not here at Joker's Wild, guys, you are missing out. There's a harmonica.
It's so loud. I thought like Matt Wally was outside smoking a cigarette and playing harmonica.
That would have been awesome. But yeah, I think there's some of that goes along with it. But I know what you're saying as far. It's not that it's any easier to be a musician, but it's just less bearing of yourself. You're not like showing the whole world.
And I feel like too, what people don't understand sometimes is we use our real names, but we're not necessarily us when we're on stage.
Yeah.
Like it drove me nuts when Tracy Morgan got in trouble for saying like anti-gay because he's not. Tracy Morgan. It's the character Tracy Morgan saying stuff.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he's too believable as a crazy person.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
But they're jokes. That's the problem.
Yeah. I've been asking a lot of comics this question. Like, what do you think about the whole culture becoming almost overly PC and kind of giving comics a lot of heat? I mean, how do you deal with that issue?
I feel like as a comic, like not a lot offends me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, so that's just, and maybe it's part of just our mindset.
Yeah.
Because I say things that I think are hilarious sometimes in like real conversation, and people get upset.
Yeah.
It's so hard because like you feel like when you're around comics you could say anything and it's just it's whatever, but then when you're amongst normal people you got to really watch what you say.
Oh, you totally forget it. I got creamed by one of my ex-girlfriends. She was so mad at me because she said I too vehemently defended Tony Parker for cheating on Eva Longoria. And all I did was make a joke that like if we were going to judge athletes based on who they cheat, like if they cheated, then we wouldn't have any athletes to like.
Yeah,
and like I think that's not even like a joke as much as it is just like a fact.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
it did not it was not well received.
She was really mad about
She was
that?
pissed. She was like, she was like, you were defending Tony Parker too much, and then my friends thought you were going to cheat on me. And I'm like, no, it's just
Oh my God,
he's
I
a
can't deal
basketball
with
player
that.
I like.
Yeah.
And I think what I
Yeah.
said was like, were you surprised that your professional athlete, younger, attractive French boyfriend cheated on you? Like that seems like
Yeah.
a recipe for cheating.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
Especially when humans aren't monogamous by nature. I mean, it's like, oh, he cheated. You're surprised? Really? Come on, really? That's a whole
So
other
yeah,
subject.
and that's the thing
but-
is I try to be careful too because like I said I don't have a stage name and like I have one of my students found like my Twitter and I'm very careful to not tweet inappropriate things because I want it to be public because the point of my Twitter is to promote my
Yeah,
comedy.
exactly.
yeah. So
but-
did they follow you?
He didn't follow me, but I've like caught he's at one point I was teaching and he raised his hand and I was like yeah what do you got to say and he goes don't you think Tom Brady's the kind of guy who leaves the shower to pee? And I
Oh
was like
no.
is that my most recent tweet?
Oh no. That's
But it's
rough.
like never anything that's that bad, so I'm not concerned. But it's you can say anything that could get taken out of context.
Oh yeah.
Like I have jokes about peanut allergies, and people have been offended. But I've heard people say the most disgusting, like gross, like porn, like filth on
Mhm.
stage, and people loved it. And I can say something completely innocuous about peanut allergies, and people get pissed.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you never know what's. I couldn't. Pat Oates wanted me to do a St. Patrick's Day show. It was gonna be me, Dan Cowhite, Pat Oates, so 3 Irish guys, St. Patrick's Day. But they said that whoever did it the previous year had a joke about peanut allergies, and they were very offended. And Pat's like, I can't use like my one clean guy because he can't say his peanut allergy joke.
Wow, I don't understand.
insane.
You know what it really boils down to? I've been noticing a lot recently. People are just so easily offended, and I think it's because most of them are stuck doing something they don't want to do, and they don't have an outlet to flip out. So when they get an outlet, all of a sudden they just
Yeah.
you were talking about peanut allergies. It doesn't really bother you. Like stop it. That doesn't bother you.
The thing is, if I had said bee stings, they would have laughed.
Yeah.
But since I said peanuts and their son or nephew had a peanut allergy, that's when the problem. You can laugh at everybody else's problems but your own.
Yeah, but
which is
like
the thing that bothers me the most.
we can't talk about death. I mean, it's going to happen to everybody. You know what I mean? No matter how you get there, you're still there. We're all going to die. So what's the big deal? That's what I don't understand. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, it's rough, man. It really is. I don't know how I would take that. I would probably just tell more peanut allergy jokes. And be like, come on, really?
You guys had Sean on the show. I did a show at a country club in Newtown that I put on, and they were not thrilled with Sean. They thought he was too dirty.
Sean
Murray.
Murray. Oh, really?
And to this day, I've had people insist to me that he said the C word, and he didn't. But just in their minds, since he was talking about like his
Really?
medium-sized dick, that they assumed that he had said the C word.
That's not even dirty
And
comedy.
not only people, like my dad. My dad was like, he definitely said it. I was like, he's never said it in his life. Like I told him that you guys think that, and he said, I've never said that word in my life.
Wow, that's not even. Have they heard of? There's this one comedian back in the day. What was his name? Richard Pryor. Have they ever heard of him? Like, you wanna
Yeah,
talk
George
about-
Carlin,
Yeah,
like-
yeah, exactly. That's why I love those guys. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think. So it was a charity show on the one for St. Patrick's Day.
It was to it was to raise money for something. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay, so
Yeah.
that's why
it was one of the
charity
fundraisers.
show.
Yeah.
A fundraiser. Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, all right. Well, I guess if they're requesting it, then
So
it's the one thing we don't want: the peanut allergy. Damn it! You're pigeonholed now. You're the peanut allergy guy.
I mean, I could have done the show. It's literally 45 seconds of my act.
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess if they're that crazy, they don't want to. They'd be too uppity for everything else too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, how did Pat
exactly.
Oates not offend them? Then that guy-
Exactly. You mentioned you put a show together at a country club. Have you been putting shows together for a while? And like as a comic, do you feel like it's necessary to like move up in the comedic hierarchy, because it seems like there's a lot to gain from putting shows together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it so often. I had a room for a while, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but there was a problem where they didn't pay us, so I
Ugh.
stopped doing that. And I basically only do shows as like I only book them if it's like a favor for somebody I know, for the most part. Because other than that, like, I mean, you could make good money doing it if you're a jerk.
Yeah.
Because like you get a budget, and like everyone's like, oh yeah, you keep like $300 and you pay everybody else $50. But like I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's horrible.
So I would make maybe $50 for the show and make sure everyone else got $50 too. It was just, I mean, it was cool because you got to like trade spots, which was nice. you know, like if I had some friends who did stuff in New York, so I would get them to come down to the shows I would do, and I'd get on their stuff in New York. So that's helpful.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a jerk, you can make good money doing it.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, I hear it. I think there's a lot of that. I'm coming from the DJ world of it, so I understand a lot of that because that happens too. Sometimes you'll have someone that's a big name around the area. He'll book something, and then he'll go for the first week, and maybe the second week, and then the third week he sends his boy. He pays him like $50,
Yeah.
and he's getting paid $400 or $500, you know. And then I've seen a lot of that too. So now I book shows once in a while, and I always try to just spread the money out. It's not really about the money for me. I mean.
Yeah.
If it was about the money, I'd go get a job where you make money,
Yeah.
not doing comedy. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted to be rich, I'd go work on Wall Street or sell. You know, I sold cars for 8 years. I could go be in sales anywhere. You know, I don't know. Yeah, that's one thing though. I noticed that a lot of people I can tell that are in comedy aren't really about the money around here. There's a few, you know, but most people.
No, it's actually a really like cool, supportive scene here.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
really
like.
is.
Especially when you go somewhere else, you know, and
Yeah.
you see the difference.
Yeah, I was talking to a kid. I was just playing poker with this kid on Monday night at Mohegan Sun, and we were talking, and I said something about that I did comedy because I know all the dealers there because I've been playing poker forever, and I'm a super degenerate. So now I haven't been there as much, and they asked me why, and I told them I'm doing comedy. So they always like, tell me a joke, you know, one of those. So he's like, oh, you do comedy? He's like, I've done a few open mics, and he's like, I'm from Albany. And I'm really interested. And we started talking, and I was like, oh, what's it like? He goes, all the comics are assholes. He goes, they're all dicks. And he goes, and honestly, they're not even that funny. He's like, I don't mean to be a dick, but, you know, he goes, they're just so judgmental, and you got to be like this. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you got to come do some mics here. People are pretty cool. I mean, you know, for the most part.
Yeah.
Everyone's really supportive. Everyone's always been cool to me, you know. So he was just blown away. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's what it's like, man, you know. I don't know. That'd be terrible. Can you imagine if you started here and everyone was just an asshole to you? You know, like how many people does that drive away?
I'm sure there's plenty of people who would say that there's a lot of assholes here too. You know, if you think about it, like.
Yeah, but I mean, there's
It's
no one that's
surprising.
hurtful. I think, you know, like I don't know.
Yeah, nobody's like mean spirited.
Yeah, they might
trying to screw you.
not
over.
let you into their little group or something. Like I took the comedy class here, and I remember Mike Weiss asked me. Because I just started talking to people, and he's like, how did you get in talking to them? I'm like, I don't know. I just stood there and started talking. Like, I don't know. He's like, oh, okay. It's like this. You just talk to them. I mean, if they walk away, they walk away. But I don't know. I'm kind of oblivious. What was it like 4 years? You said 4.5 years ago. Was it kind of the same supportive group?
I think
people,
so.
or?
Yeah. I mean, I was careful. I'm not as like extroverted for the most part. Like, and especially when I started, I didn't want to be like a new guy who was annoying the people who I thought were good.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was I was going to wait until the people I like talked to me, or we were in a situation where we had to talk, and then it happened quick. I mean, Dan Coway was one of the first guys to talk. You know, we just here early, and we just started. And then John Romanoff put me on a couple shows, and next thing I knew, I had a whole new group of friends that were a lot weirder and understood me a lot more than people I'd known forever.
Yeah, that's crazy how that happens.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I thought you were gonna say something.
Oh, well, I mean, I have a question that's not really related to what we're talking about, but just going back to the work thing. Now, you said one of your students saw your Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, do your students or your coworkers know about you as a comic, or is that something you try to keep a secret?
In hindsight, I probably should have. I mean, it's not like I'm very careful to not have a lot of things out there that could get me in trouble. I think if I were to leave schools, I probably wouldn't be as. My coworkers all know. A lot of them have come to the shows, and they were real cool about it. My boss knows. I remember one time I had a kid call me a cracker, and he didn't know what it meant. It was just like a little kid, and he just couldn't remember my first name, so Kevin, so he just said cracker because he was K.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know if he meant to, but he just called me a cracker. And my boss was like, "You're gonna write a joke about this, aren't you?" I was like, absolutely, I am.
It's already written. Already written.
So I mean, they know, or at least the older kids know, but they're also like, the only thing that one time I had a club ask me if they could tape my set and put it up on their YouTube channel, and I said yes because 95% of what I do is pretty clean.
Yeah.
But they picked the 5% that's just complete filth.
Of course.
I talk about flushing condoms on the toilet and having chlamydia, and it's just that little bit of my set where I just become the degenerate that I am inside, and and that's just one of my kids was like, yeah, I saw your clip from that show on YouTube, and thankfully he was cool, and he just didn't. I was like, I gotta get them to take that down.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't think it was that bad. He goes, I just thought, you've said funnier things in class. Like, he was disappointed that it wasn't as funny as he wanted it to be.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But like, I think if I could go and do it over, I wouldn't tell the students about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because then they start to search for you and look for you.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine as a teacher that's like seems like a nightmare. I mean, for me, I just have a regular job, and I don't like my coworkers really knowing about this and everything, because then it's always becomes like, oh, like you're a comic, okay, tell me a joke, do your act in front of me, and I don't ever have like a response for that. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys have both been in that situation too. What do you guys do?
I don't say it. I go, huh, and then I don't say anything.
This is funny because that came up Monday because the dealer was like, "Oh, well, you've been doing comedy. Tell me a joke." I'm like, "Well, it doesn't work like that." And people at the table, the other poker players, no, they were in on it. They're like, "Yeah, it doesn't work like that." I'm like, "If you want, you could clear off the table. I could stand up here and you can cry." And everyone's like, "Yeah." And then 2 minutes later, he said something and set himself up, and I forgot what it was, and I whacked him with a good like one-liner, and everyone laughed, and I'm like, there you go, there's your joke. And then everyone laughed more. I'm like, boom.
It's like the only job that, like, if you were a bartender and you were just hanging out and you'd be like, yeah, I'm a bartender, like, oh, make me a Manhattan. Like, nobody's gonna.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't mind telling people though, because I don't know. I just kind of tell them that's not how it works. I don't know. I'm not. But I actually got spotted. I was I think Saturday night when I was DJing at SBC in Milford. Some guy came up to me. He's like, "Didn't I see you at Joker's Wild?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're a comedian too, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're a DJ too?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, DJing's my main source of income. I've only been doing comedy for almost 2 years. He's like, "Really? I thought you've been doing it longer." I'm like, "Thanks, man. That's cool." And he's like, "All right, cool. Have a good one." I felt good. I thought it was gonna go worse.
Yeah, that's
you know
cool
what I
to
mean?
get
Like,
recognized.
Yeah,
it
that's
happened
so
to me
awesome.
once, but it was nice.
yeah, it's cool,
It
right?
happened to me once too, and it was also very nice. What happened?
I was just I just ordered a sandwich from a deli, and I went to pick it up, and he's like, it was back when I had started too, and Jokers was doing this contest at open mic, and it was like the Joker's Wild Comedian of the Year, and whoever had the best set at the open mic moved on to like this contest.
Okay.
And I went in there, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you do comedy. You won the contest tonight. I was there." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And then nobody's recognized me since.
I got the thing because I'm like super tall with the mohawk, so it's kind of I stick out a lot. But yeah, no, it was cool. It's happened a couple other times. Some other girl. It was weird because I think her boyfriend used to play poker. And then she was, so it was different. So I think she was here, and then that's how she spotted me. She's like, "Don't you play poker?" So I guess I got spotted for being a poker player. That's different. Never mind. I'm like, yeah, I'm a degenerate. That's cool.
Yeah, I got spotted outside in a parking lot, a Target parking lot, and it was really
What town?
nice. In Waterbury.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was. I did a benefit show in Bristol, and it just so happened that it was somebody that was at the show. So
Awesome.
It was really nice.
I've heard some bad stories. Somebody was telling the story how they got recognized, and then somebody said that they sucked or whatever.
That was Dan.
That was,
Cowell,
that
right?
was on the podcast. Actually.
Yeah, that was okay. Yeah, that's my memory. But yeah, that's got to be the worst. What a piece of shit you got to be to
Why
do
would you
that
say,
to
like-
somebody. I know.
Like I've heard people, I've had people say that they didn't like me like after a show, which I hated. But at least that was like the proper venue to like.
Yeah.
What did they say?
It was a weird. I was at the Funny Bone, and I was hosting for John Witherspoon, who's Pops from Friday.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
okay,
it was
yeah.
completely not my crowd. It was like all people who grew up watching Friday and like just want to hear him say like, "Don't go in the bathroom for 35, 47." Yeah, that's which he does. He
I was
opens
gonna
up his
say,
set.
what is his act?
He,
Like,
he opens up his set with his most famous movie lines,
Oh.
and I think he didn't talk to me very much.
He is funny though, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
he
he's
was
got
killing
some. Well, I mean, he has other material
Yeah.
besides that, right?
But
yeah.
he says all of his lines up front, and he said it was so that people don't scream it at him. while
Yeah,
he's doing
probably to
the
get it
rest
out of the way,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like they did to Chappelle in Hartford. Ugh.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
just not my. And I overthought everything too, because like I knew it wasn't like my sweet spot of a crowd.
Yeah.
And so then one guy just like, "What the hell were you doing on stage?" And I was like, "I don't know. I have no idea what I was doing on stage."
Oh man.
But I mean,
Wow.
it was. And he's like, "Ah, I'm kidding." I was like, "No, you're not."
He felt bad because he didn't. He
Yeah.
probably expected you to say something funny,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Oh shit."
No, this guy worked real hard, and I hurt his feelings.
I was just kidding, guy.
Just kidding.
In
I-
other
I-
news,
I've
local
had
comedian.
people say to me, "Oh, you need to be more positive when you're up there," which I think is even worse because they're just like, "Yeah, you're just a sad sack up there. It's bad."
It's comedy, folks. Yeah, I've had some people say things, like, oh, you should say this or do that. And the best is when they want to tell you a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, I got this. You should use. And I always tell them, like, you should do it. Come to my open mic, and I'm not even being a dick. Like, if you think it's funny, you do. But I got to do stuff that's me. Like, I got to talk about Tinder and cats. I mean, we all know this. Like,
I was at a terrible party and had a guy for 45 minutes just tell me Gilbert Gottfried jokes and then told me that I should use them. And I was like, nobody's gonna pay to see me do Gilbert Gottfried. He's like, no, just say that they're Gilbert Gottfried. He's like, you don't. It's not a term paper. Like, you can't just cite your sources and go over there and be like, here's my favorite 45 minutes of Gilbert Gottfried.
do you ever wonder? You'd be the Affleck duck now. He's gone.
Have you ever had like an audience member come up to you afterwards and like start telling you like their jokes, but their jokes were just street jokes?
Yeah.
Because that happened to me like this past weekend. And
Oh,
it was with
right
an
here?
audience member.
Well, you hosted. How'd that go,
Yeah,
by the way?
it went good. It was
Yeah?
it was awesome. Yeah, Sam
Awesome.
Morrell was
great.
fantastic. He is so good. He's so good. So this audience member who wasn't laughing at anything for anybody all night comes up to us afterwards and with his whatever's just street joke about pussy, and he starts laughing at that, and we're all just kind of like, yeah, good. It's like, I don't know, what kind of a person does it take to just be like, let me go up to these comics and tell them this joke that I just read in a joke book and see what they say about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I get it sometimes actually before shows. Like, sometimes
Oh,
I'll be
really?
like at the bar and they'll be like, yeah, this guy's on the show. And then they'll be like, oh, I got a joke for you.
Oh no.
And it's almost like they're waiting for me to tell their joke.
You
when they're in the
should
audience.
like write it
Here
down
it
and go up there and
comes.
be like,
Here it comes.
hey guys, there's this guy right here. You told me a joke right, and then say it and see how it gets nothing. Be like, see, yeah, that's why I didn't say it. That's why, and then that would be so horrible.
He's gonna say it. I don't want to go to the bathroom. He's gonna say
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
He just holds it for the whole hour. Just shits his pants at the end.
Oh man. Well, we're at an hour actually right now.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to promote that's coming up?
Yeah, the Andy roast.
Yes,
is gonna
that's
be
the
awesome.
23rd,
Oh,
right?
23rd. It's a killer lineup too. John Romanoff, Dan Calway, Darren Rivera, Sean Murray. Like, a lot of people are gonna be on it. It's gonna be fun. And then I have something else. I don't know if I remember it.
Well, I could talk about. I have a show coming up April 30th. I booked a show in Milford. So for all my Milford people, I don't want to hear your crap about not coming. It's a Thursday night. I'm going to do it early at 7:30. It's going to be at Bar 333, which is the old Topside. It's across from like the police station, so don't get too drunk and drive. You shouldn't drink and drive at all.
Nope.
It's horrible. So April 30th, Bar 333. I have Brian Barganier so far and Dan Calwhite and myself so far, and I'm going to figure out some more people. So come see me.
Nice.
You got anything?
Yeah, this Friday, April 10th, I'm gonna be at Senior Ponchos in
Ooh.
Prospect.
Is that with Rich or?
No, it's with Howie Mason and Mike McKenna.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so I mean, from what Mike told me, he said it's sold out. So,
Oh,
and I've done
awesome.
shows for him before that are like really, really good, like good
Cool.
crowds, like 70 people or so in a restaurant. So, I'm looking forward to it. Should be fun.
Awesome. And if you're listening, we do accept donations. We got our first donation today. So you should donate too, so we could say your name live on the air and everyone can clap for you.
Yep.
Did you
That's
get
right.
the other show?
Oh yeah, April 26th. I think I'm doing a fundraiser here, Jokers.
April 26th, he thinks he's doing a fundraiser.
Pat was
Alright.
very vague about whether or not it was happening, but I think it's happening.
Cool. He
Nice.
said every Sunday there's going to be one. So I'd say I should talk about that too. My mic, every Thursday we do Murphy's Law at 8 o'clock in Bridgeport. And on Sundays, we've been doing Joker's Wild at 7 o'clock, 6:30 sign up, 7 o'clock roll. It's free. Both of them are free. There's no charge, no excuses. If you're a comic, get your butt here and tell jokes. Okay, cool. All right.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.